and we're coming to Rosh Chodesh this Friday.
Yeah.
Friday and Shabbos is Rosh Chodesh Adar. So, speaking about Rosh Chodesh, it fits right in. We're getting ready for the new moon, new month.
Is it
New couple months.
Yalav Yovo Friday Ma'ariv or earlier? Friday day?
Thursday night.
This Thursday. Oh no, because when I looked at my luach, because it's the last day of the month because it's a 2-day.
2-day Rosh Chodesh.
That's okay. That's what. Got it.
So you got it.
The last day of the month is technically the first day of Rosh Chodesh. I mean, for the davening.
Oh, hi, Dov.
Oh.
I'm slightly late around.
That's no problem. Okay, so as Rosh Chodesh is coming, so I'll just get the book. Okay, as we have seen earlier, it's the introduction to Mishnah, beginning of Siman 16. Each month in the Jewish calendar is either 29 or 30 days. At the end of the lunar month, the moon, known as the old moon, can be seen in the early morning as a crescent in the east. So we're talking about seeing there is then a period of time when the thin crescent of the moon is too close to the sun to be seen at all. Afterward, the new moon can be sighted in the early evening in the west. If witnesses see the new moon on the night of the 30th day from the previous Rosh Chodesh, and that is the night following the 29th day of the month, and that would be tomorrow night, because today was the 28th, tomorrow is the 29th, they go to Beis Din who declare that day as Rosh Chodesh. Then Rosh Chodesh is the 30th, that starts the new month. If no witnesses come on the 30th day, the next day, the 31st day, will be Rosh Chodesh. So there's 2 days that it could be. It's either the 30th or the day after. Depends if the witnesses came and said that they saw the new moon.
Well, how do you see a new moon?
You go outside and you see the moon.
Just
the sliver.
Oh, the beginning of the next
the
moon.
sliver.
Yeah.
The sliver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's close to the horizon and small.
It's very small. It's pretty small. So
The new
it's very
moon
small.
is invisible
So
until the light comes on the next moon.
yes, that's what we're saying. Right in the beginning, when the light starts to, that's when, if the witnesses saw it, that would be Rosh Chodesh.
It would be the first day.
The first day.
Mm-hmm.
The Mishnah begins with a discussion of a case where witnesses claim to have seen the old moon in the morning and to have seen the new moon that evening. So we'll see if that's possible. Maisa, there's a story. One time, 2 witnesses came and said, "We saw the old moon in the morning in the east, and we saw the new moon that evening in the west." Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri said, "They are false witnesses. They're lying. It is impossible for them to have seen the new moon in the evening if the old moon was visible in the morning, as they claim."
More than 12 hours?
Yeah, you need more than 12 hours.
Yeah.
At least 24, we'll see. But when the witnesses came to Yavne, next page, the seat of the Sanhedrin at the time, Rabbi Gamliel accepted them as valid witnesses. So
Yikes.
we have Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. He says they're false witnesses, and Rabbi Gamliel accepted them.
What's the punishment for a false witness in a moon case?
I don't think there is a punishment.
I mean, that's some real false witness might not be that.
Yeah,
That's false witness against people, not.
it's a different type of witness. This over here, you're just like saying if you saw something or not, like what. I don't think there's a punishment, but the question is if we could accept them. But Rabbi Gamliel accepted these witnesses. And that's one case. Va'id, on another occasion, 2 witnesses came and said, "We saw the new moon of Tishrei in its time," that is on the evening before the 30th day. However, on the night following the month's added 30th day, that is on the next night, the evening before the 31st day, that they did not see it. Beis Din and the people looked for the new moon, but it was not visible. So it's like seeing it on Rosh Chodesh, and then they said they looked around, they didn't see it the next night. Nevertheless, Rabbi Gamliel accepted them as valid witnesses and established the 30th day as Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, that is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is also the Rosh Chodesh, it's the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
So they were only able to see the moon the night of the 30th, but not the next night. And Rabbi Gamliel said that it's still, it's counted. It's Rosh Chodesh. It's Rosh Hashanah. But Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanus disagreed and said they are false witnesses.
How do they go on?
This is, again, a dispute between Rabbi Gamliel and the other rabbis. How can they testify? And they give an interesting analogy to compare this to. How can they testify that a woman gave birth, yet on the next day we see that she is undoubtedly pregnant with her belly between her teeth?
Between her teeth. Right.
Short girl.
So there's a whole discussion about this example. Maybe we'll discuss soon. But they're like saying, if she gave birth, how does she look pregnant the next day? If they saw the moon, how come the next day we don't see it? Similarly, the fact that the new moon is invisible in the evening is the greatest proof that the witnesses could not have seen it earlier that day. So we have Rabbi Gamliel in both cases saying that he's accepting what the witnesses say, and it is Rosh Chodesh. And other rabbis, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanus, in both cases said that it can't be true. So on the bottom in the notes, they explain more about how the moon works and why it is possible or not possible. We look at footnote 2.
What page number?
Page 125. Yeah, they have a long footnote 2.
125.
125 in Rosh Hashanah, yeah. During the course of the moon's monthly orbit of the Earth, it moves from a point where it is directly in the direction of the sun, neither east nor west of the sun's position, but usually slightly to the north or south, to a point where it is in the opposite direction of the sun and then back again. The changing direction of the moon affects what part of the illuminated side of the moon is visible to us, and thus the size and shape of the moon's appearance, as well as when and where it is visible. Immediately after the Moilad, so on last Shabbos we announced the Moilad will be. What is the Moilad? The lunar conjunction.
Earth, moon, sun. Earth, moon, sun.
What is there?
So this is the new moon. Here's the Earth. Earth is doing this. The moon is doing this.
It's also
And they're both doing it
rotating
around
on its
sun.
axis. The
Right.
moon's also rotating.
No. Well, the
Yeah.
moon is rotating one per revolution. So to the Earth, it appears as if it's not rotating. It is rotating, you're right. So this is the situation with the new moon. And then as soon as the next month, the next day, it goes around and comes here, and now the moon is over here.
Able to see some sunshine.
A little bit of sunshine from
Yeah.
here to here, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
That's what happens.
So you're right. Thank you for the example, but we could keep it there because
I
it'll.
thought I'd turn it around to show the white polite.
Oh, okay.
There's your new moon. And then after this, now it's like this.
There's
So
also declinations involved.
Well.
And ephelion, perihelion, distances. It's all precisely evolving every month.
yeah. And the moon moves east of the direction of the sun. When it gets a few degrees east of the sun, it will be visible as a thin crescent above the western horizon, just after sunset, where it will be visible for a short time until it sets in the west. As the month progresses, the moon gets progressively farther east of the direction of the sun and will appear larger and larger and higher above the western horizon after sunset. It's on the next page. At the middle of the month, the moon reaches the point where it is directly opposite the direction of the sun.
Now it's like this.
So lunar opposition, it then appears as a full circle and rises above the eastern horizon as the sun sets in the west. Since it is now opposite the sun, it is above our horizon the entire night and can then be seen the entire night as it moves from the eastern horizon until it sets in the west. From that point on, it now continues its move westward and moves progressively closer to the direction of the sun. As such, its size progressively diminishes and rises progressively later at night above the eastern horizon. At the end of its monthly orbit, it approaches the direction of the sun, and the moon is now only a few degrees west of the direction of the sun. So it will again be only a thin crescent, but now it is west of the position of the sun. During the day, the thin crescent is invisible because it is outshone by the sun, but early in the morning it will rise above the eastern horizon shortly before the sun rises, and will be visible for a short time until sunrise when the sun's brightness obscures it. So you said you saw the moon this morning?
This morning.
Yeah.
Thin crescent.
Right.
I read that moon rises 2 hours earlier every night.
Interesting. When the moon gets within a few degrees of the sun, it becomes
2 hours later every night.
invisible until it crosses the direction of the sun and reaches a few degrees east of the sun. Then it is once again visible east of the sun for a short time after sunset. Okay, so this was the whole explanation of how the moon works. We pretty much know. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri argued that the witnesses who testified to seeing the moon in the morning in the east and then in the evening in the west were saying something that is impossible, as the time that it takes for the moon to move from a few degrees west of the sun, where it is far enough west to be visible before sunrise, to a few degrees east of the sun, where it is far enough east to be visible after sunset, is always significantly longer than from morning to evening. The Gemara teaches that there is always at least 24 hours between the disappearance of the old moon and the appearance of the new moon. So that's what Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri was saying. He says, how could Rabbi Gamliel accept them? But Rabbi Gamliel did. So that was the first.
Why did he accept them if he knew it was impossible?
So it could be what they saw in the morning was not really the moon. Maybe they made a mistake. He said, what they said about the sun, we're going to accept the second half of their statement. What they said in the morning, maybe they made a mistake. They saw something that looked like a moon. But he didn't totally.
Yeah, I don't know what they saw in the moon.
Moon-shaped cloud.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe an umbra of the moon in terms of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The umbra is the illumination of the dark surface based upon the light on the other surface.
Yeah, but
There's two surfaces, the one that's illuminated and the dark side. But sometimes you see
That was
the
true.
whole circumference of the moon, which is called the umbra. It's dark, but you see the outline image of it.
Interesting.
reflection of Earth light on the moon, but that would still require the moon be in the opposite side of the Earth in less than 24 hours.
No, what I'm actually saying is that they might have seen an umbra in
I
the
heard you.
morning.
And
of the next,
umbra is
the
Earth.
next moon coming. So they were in between things.
Umbra is Earth shine on the moon,
And
right?
they thought they saw the new moon and the old moon in that period of time, which actually they saw the new moon coming in the morning and then more visible at night.
I hear you're saying it wasn't the old moon; it was the new moon.
It was the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the new moon, here's the sun, here's the Earth, here's the moon. You can't see it because the sun is behind it, so none of the moon's face is illuminated. You can have a case where there's enough light bouncing off the Earth to slightly illuminate the dark face of the moon. Is that what you're talking about?
No. At any given time, if you look at the moon in any phase it's in other than full, because there's no umbra on a full moon. If you see the waxing and the waning at other quarters,
This is a new moon, not a full, yeah.
you'll see the circumference of the dark side of the moon and some illumination casting out to it.
But from the Earth reflecting light.
No, it's
reflecting.
from the moon's light.
How can the moon's light illuminate the
It's
dark
the
side of the moon?
sunlight, not exactly the moon, but it's the sun doing that. There's so much light on the different parts of the moon, you see an umbra. I'll show you what an umbra is. And
Pretty
you've
sure you're
probably
talking.
seen
Pretty
it.
sure you're talking about a reflection of light coming off the Earth, because there's no atmosphere on the moon. There's no scattering. there's a sharp line between bright light and pitch
However
black.
it happens, I'm going to show you the umbra shadow of a moon. This is the dark center portion of a shadow. The moon's umbra causes total solar eclipses, and the Earth's umbra is involved in the total or partial lunar. The umbra of the moon's shadow. I want to see an actual picture when they keep showing.
There's umbra and penumbra.
Here's the umbra. Diagram of the umbra and penumbra. That's right.
Mhm.
So this is it.
But if you see,
It's the light casting on the umbra. The umbra is the sunlight.
is that
It
object
goes over the sphere of the moon and into the darkness.
is that object in the center of your screen the moon?
Yeah, that's the moon.
So the sun is to your left
Correct.
and is shining on the back side of the moon, and so the side of the moon that's facing us is totally dark.
No,
But-
I would think that we're looking at the light of the moon, but the umbra is
If the sun,
the shadow of the moon that you can still see.
I'm imagining your diagram. Here's the sun,
I don't know.
here's the moon, and here's us. Ah, you're right. It's not important.
The thing is, either way, we're not sure what they saw in the morning, but we're not sure if it was an umbra, if it was a cloud.
This is your umbra.
They saw something in the morning, and they claimed that they saw the moon in the morning and the moon at night. Rabbi Gamliel says no. At the night you saw the moon, in the morning I'm not sure what you saw, but he accepted them.
That's
Yeah.
Who said that, Camille?
Gamliel, that's
I
what
would agree with
you would agree with him?
Yeah.
Rambam bails them out, day after day after day after day of all the intercalculations. They know well in advance
When it's
almost
going to
to
be.
the second, when the month is.
Mm-hmm.
So
They had guys
the witnesses
doing
are
that,
more of a
right?
ceremony than anything else.
That's what they are now. Before they had that calculation.
Then-
Even then,
they had the calculations then.
the Beis Din would make
was
the
a time.
calculations. They would really know, but they would wait for the Eidim,
Yeah,
for the, right.
Well, there was a time before they had the calculations where they just relied on witnesses per se, right? Centuries, perhaps?
I don't know how far back. But sure, in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, they already had the calendar under control.
I think it was says Hillel made a calendar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And he lived in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash.
I think so. All right, so that was the first story. The second story was that they saw the moon the first night. They didn't see it the second night. And it wasn't that it was cloudy the next night. So the question was, how could it be that the first night, if they actually saw the moon the first night, how come it wasn't visible in the night afterwards? It should be more visible. That's what Reb Dosa ben Harkinas was saying. How could Rabbi Gamliel accept it? So, okay, this is right now. It's not explaining really why he did this, but the story continues. Amar lei Rabbi Yeshua. This is on the bottom of page 126. Rabbi Yeshua said to Rabbi Dosa, I agree with your words that the witnesses are surely false. Therefore, Elul should be extended to 30 days, and Rosh Hashanah, as well as Yom Kippur and Sukkot, will fall one day later. So it's a huge difference what day it is, because you're going to have Yom Kippur and Sukkot, either it's one day earlier or a day later.
yeah.
So we have Rabbi Gamliel on one side. He says that it was Rosh Chodesh, and we have Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinas saying that it's not. So Rabbi Gamliel then sent the following message to Rabbi Yeshua. I decree upon you to come with me with your walking stick and your money on the day that Yom Kippur falls according to your calculation.
Famous.
Yes, it says, I want you to show that you accept the ruling of the Beis Din of Rabbi Gamliel. We'll discuss later what's this two things. Why a walking stick and the money? Why those two things specifically? Would there be another way? Maybe you could tell him to eat on Yom Kippur.
Yeah, start light a fire.
Yeah. Why those two things? Walking stick and money. You know?
Oh, good.
Where is that in here?
So it's on page 127.
Oh, 127.
So it says, Rabbi Akiva went and found Rabbi Yeshua distraught, since Rabbi Gamliel the Nasi had ordered him to desecrate the day that he considered Yom Kippur. Yeah, he's telling him to desecrate Yom Kippur according to Rabbi Yeshua's calculation. Now Rabbi Akiva said to Rabbi Yeshua, I can demonstrate that whatever Rabbi Gamliel did, even if mistaken, is valid. For the pasuk says, the verse says, these are the festivals of Hashem, holy convocations, that you shall declare them by saying, declare them, that you shall declare them. The words that we say this in the Kiddush on Yom Tov, Ela Maya de Hashem, Mikroi Kodesh. By saying that you shall declare them, the verse indicates that the matter is dependent solely on the declaration of the Sanhedrin. This is to say, whether you declare them in their correct time or not in their correct time, I, Hashem, have no festivals other than these. So it goes by the Beis Din. Whenever the Beis Din decides, this is when the Yom Tov is. So let's look at footnote 6, gives a little bit more explanation here. Rabbi Yeshua's Yom Kippur, the 10th of Tishrei, would fall on the 11th of Tishrei of Rabbi Gamliel's official calendar.
Where's your note?
6
127.
on 127.
Middle.
Rabbi Gamliel considered that day to be an ordinary weekday. Therefore, as a Nasi, whom Rabbi Yeshua would be obliged to obey, Rabbi Gamliel commanded Rabbi Yeshua to travel to him on the official 11th of Tishrei with his walking stick and money, ordering him to, in effect, to desecrate the Yom Kippur of his reckoning and to thereby display publicly his acceptance of Rabbi Gamliel's official calendar.
Is Rabbi Gamliel the one whose hair turned white overnight?
That was Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Yeah. It was not necessary for Rabbi Gamliel to decree that Rabbi Yeshua should observe Rabbi Gamliel's Yom Kippur, because he knew that Rabbi Yeshua would not act differently than the community. So we're saying here that Rabbi Yeshua for sure would keep Rabbi Gamliel's Yom Kippur. Rather, Rabbi Gamliel feared that Rabbi Yeshua would observe 2 days as Yom Kippur. He would fast both days, and he would keep both days just in case. That's what he was worried about.
And that assumes his followers would too.
Rabbi Yeshua, yeah.
So you'd have a rebellion between the two yeshivas.
Yeah, and not only that, Rabbi Yeshua was actually second to Rabbi Gamliel, so he had a lot of power. So one of course, so he was worried that Rabbi Yeshua would do 2 Yom Kippurs. He would fast 2 days, one after another, one according to his calculation, and the other according to Rabbi Gamliel's calculation. Since if people would have discovered this, it would cause a rift in the nation. Rabbi Gamliel ordered Rabbi Yeshua to desecrate his own Yom Kippur and observe only Rabbi Gamliel's Yom Kippur. Rabbi Gamliel felt compelled to assert his authority in this extreme manner in order to preserve the authority of the court and the unity of the nation. Yeah, it would be pretty crazy if you have, to have people following Yom Kippur one day and other people are doing 2 days Yom Kippur. That wouldn't be good.
Think how many times we dodged what happened in Islam. Islam split between the followers of the son-in-law and the followers of the son, and that's where you get the Sunni Shia split, and they've been at war with each other ever since. And we, Baruch Hashem, avoided. We've had some serious splits, but Judaism as a whole has always chosen one path forward.
Right. So we try to keep it.
Not really.
We have a lot of
A lot
different.
of different denominations that go different ways.
We have a lot of different minhagim
Similar,
about
but they're similar.
about more details, but
Still go with Torah.
But they're not at war with each other.
No,
Not for a long time.
no, they won't party with you though if you don't eat pork.
I eat pork. Yeah,
But we'll count them all as towards a minion.
that's right.
That's a big
Yeah.
deal. They
That
would.
too.
They might not. And of course, Christians got booted out of Judaism.
So Rabbi Gamliel was trying to keep things united. There's this famous story of the longest Pesach where they, the story with there was a baker that wanted to poison all the bread. The Jewish people would buy the bread after Pesach from this baker.
Yeah.
So someone told the rabbi or gave out the secret what this baker was trying to do, and the rabbi was trying to avoid this whole problem. So he got up in shul and he said, we made a mistake in the calendar. really Pesach is one day later, so therefore we have to keep another day of not eating chametz. It caused this whole commotion in the town, and then nobody ate from the food that day. They're like, oh, we can't eat it. It's still Pesach. And then by that time, other people bought from him, and they died from the poison, and his plot.
Reputation went down.
His reputation went down. His plot was spoiled. The Jewish people were saved. Yeah, but that's an extreme situation that they had to do this to make Pesach a day longer. But over here, we don't want to make Yom Kippur. To eat not to eat chametz another day is not so bad, but to fast for 2 days, that's a problem. Okay, still in this note, though Rabbi Doisa too had challenged Rabbi Gamliel's decision, so we had two rabbis, that Rabbi Doisa and Rabbi Yeshua. So why did Rabbi Gamliel only tell Rabbi Yeshua to come on Yom Kippur? Rabbi Gamliel sent this order only to Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua was the head of the Sanhedrin, second only to Rabbi Gamliel himself. And Rabbi Yeshua's dissent was therefore a much greater concern than that of Rabbi Doisa. So that's why we mentioned he specifically told Rabbi Yeshua he wasn't so worried about what Rabbi Doisa said or his followers.
That's a pretty big diss.
But,
yeah, be wrong. Nobody cares. Youch.
So we'll look at the additional references. Why didn't he tell him to eat on Yom Kippur? Ben Yoyad, Gamliel did not, in the shaded box on the bottom. Gamliel did not force Rabbi Yeshua to eat on his Yom Kippur, since eating is not usually done in front of many people. And if Rabbi Yeshua would eat in private, there would be not a public display that he accepted Rabbi Gamliel's authority. He wanted to do something that everyone could see. You take your stick and your money, that would be more of a show. It would tell everyone. Okay, so back into the story. So Rabbi Akiva was trying to comfort Rabbi Yeshua, explaining to him that whatever the Sanhedrin says, this is what you have to do. Then we continue. Rabbi Yeshua then came to Rabbi Doisa ben Harkinas, who told him, page 128, if we are going to question the decision of Rabbi Gamliel's Beis Din, then we will have to question the decision of each and every Beis Din that arose for the Jewish people from the days of Moshe until now. Because, if we trust the Beis Din, then whoever they are, and whenever they are, we have to follow. This we surely cannot do, as the verse says, and there went up Moshe and Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. So it mentions by name Moshe and Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, but the 70 people doesn't list who they are. Now, why were the names of the 70 elders not expressly mentioned? It is only to teach you that each and every 3 judges that arose as a Beis Din over Yisrael have the same authority as the court of Moshe. It's coming to say we specifically are not mentioning their names, because if they would say the names, to say, okay, maybe this person that we have in our Beis Din now, we can compare it to those people then.
It's interesting because a Beis Din Gadol is 71, and this was 70.
But Moshe was on top.
Moshe was on top, so there's your 71. Okay.
Yeah, 71.
So by not naming it, it also says that every Beis Din is like the 70 Beis Din.
Yes, so by not saying their names, we can't compare and say, oh, okay, this person was much greater than the people in the Beis Din now. We just say, no, the fact that they were the Beis Din, that's what gave them the power. They
Beis
had
Din Ploni.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so basically, it wasn't simple for Rabbi Yeshua to accept this thing that he has to do, that he has to desecrate his Yom Kippur. So he's first discussing with Rabbi Akiva, and he brought him one pasuk, and then Rabbi Dosa ben Harkanas brought another pasuk to show the power of the Beis Din. Now, finally, accepting the arguments of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Dosa, Rabbi Yeshua took his walking stick and his money in hand, traveled to Yavne to Rabbi Gamliel on the day that Yom Kippur fell according to Rabbi Yeshua's reckoning. So he accepted. He actually did what Rabbi Gamliel said. Rabbi Gamliel thereupon arose and kissed Rabbi Yeshua on his head and said to him, "Come in peace, my master and my disciple." He calls him Rabbi V'Talmidi. Why? My master in wisdom. He's saying that Rabbi Yeshua is in a way more knowledgeable than Rabbi Gamliel, and my disciple, that you fulfilled my words. It's a very powerful thing, even though it's possibly that Rabbi Yeshua knew more, he was greater in wisdom, he still accepted and followed Rabbi Gamliel because he was the Nasi, because he was the leader. So
That also kind of implies that he acknowledged he might be wrong.
what?
That Rabbi
Gamliel, right?
might be wrong, but nevertheless his voice is the one of authority.
Yeah, exactly. So let's look at insight A, the power of the Sanhedrin. Reb Moshe Alshich writes that this incident reveals the extraordinary power of the Jewish courts, which are given authority by the Torah to determine the day of Rosh Chodesh.
Where are you?
Insight A. It's a box before
There.
the shaded boxes.
Oh, our previous page.
Sorry, page 127. 127, insight A. Jumping around a little bit over here.
Inside A.
Insight A, the power of the Sanhedrin.
Yes?
Reb Moshe Alshich writes that this incident reveals the extraordinary power of the Jewish courts, which are given the authority by the Torah to determine the day of Rosh Chodesh, and thereby establish the proper dates for all the festivals. This process is no mere legalism, rather it actually determines the spiritual and even physical nature of these holy days. Each Yom Tov possesses its unique spiritual energy and light, which is bestowed upon Yisrael at the time. Yet even though the source of these divine gifts is in heaven, the determination as to when they will flow down is made not there, but rather on this earth, by the members of the Beis Din, who decide when the festival will occur. Only the day that is chosen by the courts is the day that is endowed with special spiritual qualities. Astoundingly, Hashem takes his cue from mere humans and waits till the decision before responding accordingly. So what is a Yom Tov? A Yom Tov, besides for what we are allowed to or not allowed to do on a Yom Tov, a Yom Tov is a time when there's a special Kedusha, there's a special energy which comes down to this world from Hashem. But who decides when that energy should come down? That Kedusha, should flow into this world. It's not Hashem, it's the Beis Din down here. So we're deciding about Hashem's holiness, about Hashem's Kedusha, when it should come down. So this really shows on the power of the Beis Din, that their power is not just deciding dates on a calendar, it's not just a technical thing, it's really deciding about the Kedusha and the energy of the Yom Tov, when that should be. And Hashem is accepting it, like Hashem is waiting for the Beis Din down here to decide when the Yom Tov is.
Wow.
Yeah. This concept,
Makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense, but it's amazing. It's very powerful.
It might be there anyways.
What
It's
might be
always
there?
there anyways, the energy.
But whether the energy should come to this world, that depends on
The base.
the Beis Din. Yeah. This concept extends even further. Alshich continues. Based on the Medrash, he states that even if the heavenly court has already convened for the awesome judgment of Rosh Hashanah, and the earthly court then decides to push up Rosh Hashanah by one day, the heavenly court follows suit and cancels the judgment until the next day. So you imagine the whole Beis Din above is getting together, and they say, Beis Din down here says one more day.
There's something
game.
There's something we just saw which is very chilling, which relates to this in a weird way. And this is a little dark, but The original date planned for the massacre that took place on October 7th was Pesach night. And they decided to postpone it because of various logistic reasons. It wasn't going to work. But what is that night? That night is a protected night. They planned not only to attack the Jewish people, but in effect to attack God, because God says this is a protected night. And had it been victimized on that night, it would have said, well, it's not a protected night. But because of circumstances beyond their control, they couldn't do it that night. And that, every time I think about that, I get a prickle right back here.
Where'd you get this from?
Reading the Jewish news.
All right.
Not from CNN, I can assure you.
So that's, I guess, connected some to the idea of the Yom Tov and this,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
dates.
The holiness of the night the protection that came down,
Did not allow it.
did not allow it. Yeah.
And now it gets even stronger. See therefore a further example from Yerushalmi Nedarim, in which it emerges that even the age of one's physical body is determined by the calendrical calculations of the courts.
Whoa.
So basically, in Torah, we know there's different ages. Let's say a girl, to be able to be,
12 and a half.
or even 3. Let's say Rivka, it says that she got married at 3.
Yeah.
So, or like you said, 12, there's different stages
Yeah.
within the body. So whether it's Rosh Chodesh or not will make a difference even in the person's body, you know, if she's 3 or not, because Rosh Chodesh would be the beginning of the new month or the beginning of the new year. So that would even make a difference in the person's body based on the decision of the Beis Din. That's a very big one. Such is the remarkable impact of the Sanhedrin upon the earth and heavenly realms. Thus, Rabbi Gamliel's consecration of Rosh Chodesh, even had it been made in error, became the reality not just on the earth, but in the upper spheres as well. So we're showing the power of the Beis Din and the...
Makes sense, because the holidays are for us.
But what we're saying is that not only that it affects us, but it affects what's going on above.
Right.
When when it's Rosh Hashanah above also depends on when the Beis Din decides Rosh Hashanah is down here. Okay, so there's still a few things to discuss over here in this story, or maybe a lot of things, about why the stick and the money. Why those two things? So we said not eating, because eating wouldn't prove it. But why specifically the stick and the money? So I made some copies over here. Some more...
I didn't mean to say that it was trivial. I'm saying that because we set Rosh Hashanah on a day, we want the blessings of that day are for us, and therefore God withholds them and gives them to us on the day that we designate, because otherwise it would fall on a different day and it wouldn't be for us. So so that was my intent.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so something first from the Evan Ezra. He says a very interesting thing in general about this Rosh Chodesh. So if we think about it, the first mitzvah that was given to the Jewish people is Rosh Chodesh. The first mitzvah that's Rashi's question. Why didn't the Torah begin from a Chodesh Azalachem, right? Why doesn't the Torah begin from the first mitzvah, which is sanctifying the new moon? So the Evan Ezra has a very big question. V'yesh l'smaya mizatema gedola. He says there's a big wonder. Eich pirish dine kol negoy metzara. If you look in the Torah, when it comes to tzaras, for someone speaking Lashon Hara, the Torah goes into all the details. Shehu ba'adam echad. It's in one person. V'lo yamed b'kol zman. But tzaras, we don't have these days. People don't get this leprosy, right? So why are there so many details? You have Parshas Tazria, Mitzayra, V'hiniach Dvar HaMayadim. When it comes to about Rosh Chodesh and how it works, the Torah doesn't go into detail. It just says, sanctify the new moon. Shekol Yisrael Chayavim L'Shamra. We have to keep it B'kol Zman in all times. V'yesh kares al achilas chametz b'Pesach. You have to know when you're not allowed to eat chametz. V'al achilas Yom Kippur, like we had in our Gemara. So why doesn't the Torah go into detail about Rosh Chodesh? It doesn't tell you how to make the whole idea of having a leap year, or how to work it out, the calendar with the sun and the moon. It doesn't say it in the Torah. How should we know it?
And all the 613 commandments that are dependent thereupon. Remember you read that when you read the Spizin?
No, what is the,
When you read the Spizin, it says, and all the 613 commandments that are dependent upon it.
yeah,
And you were very excited about that, as I recall. And yeah, not only that, but the day, and in this case, Rosh Chodesh, all these commandments come off it.
So the Eben Ezra says that v'zel la'os, this is a sign, this is a proof. Ki samach al kriyas bezdin b'kol der v'der, that the Torah is giving authority to the rabbis and to the bezdin in every generation to decide how the calendar is going to work. This is one of the proofs for Torah Shebal Peh, for the oral Torah, is from this mitzvah, because it doesn't make sense that such an important mitzvah, Hashem would leave it so vague and unexplained. So this itself is the proof that Hashem is relying on the Beis Din throughout all generations. Now, something also very fascinating, we know that Mishnayos, which is the base of Torah Shebal Peh, the oral Torah, has 6 darim, has 6 orders. And there's Zroim, Mayed, Nashim, Nezikim, Kachim, Taros. Those are the 6. Some speak about different things that are related to plants, to Yavim Tovim, woman, damages, Karbanis, and Taros. Now, a lot of times we use a simun. In order for us to remember something, we take like a Rosh Chodesh, the first letter of each word for us to remember. So if you want to remember all the 6 darim, there's a siman called Zman Nokat. So remember those 2 words, Zman Nokat, you'll remember all 6 orders, because the Zayin stands for Zroim, the Mem for Mayid, the Nun for Nashim, Nezikim, Kadshim, Taros. But in Torah, it's incredible that even the simanim, even the signs that we make, there's also a reason for that. So why do we use these words, Zman Nakat? What do these 2 words mean? It's only an acronym, but it's not only an acronym. Zman Nakat. So it's all about time. Zman is time. If you want to remember about Torah Shebal Peh, if you want to know how that Torah Shebal Peh, the oral Torah, is true, is think about time. Zman Nakat. Why? Because we just mentioned before, if you think about the whole idea of the calendar and how it all relies on the Chachamim, that shows you the truth of Torah Shebal Peh. So the siman, to remember what are the Torah Shebal Peh, the 6 orders, is Zman Nakat. If you'll remember time, you'll remember Torah Shebal Peh. That will be like the proof for you for all of
Is nakat also a word?
Yes, nakat means like to hold on to. Nakat. So Zman Nakat. Hold on to time, you're holding on to Torah Shebal Peh, because if you think about time and you think about how
Grasp is the word I'm thinking of.
Grasp would be a better word, yeah. Okay.
Seize the time, seize the day.
Seize the time and you seize
Carpe diem.
you seize Torah Shebal Peh.
I'm gonna carpe your pen. I'm gonna check this out. Beautiful.
Now about the stick and the money. So I found a sefer. It's called Hain Ashir. Hain Ashir means a lot of wealth, a lot of money. That's what he named his book, and it's a book on Mishnayos. This was written by a great rabbi, an Italian rabbi, who was a poet and also a Kabbalist in the times of the Baal Shem Tov. And he also explained the Mishnah, one of the books that he wrote, one of the many books. So he says like this. Rabbi Gamliel wants to prove a point. He wants him to show that he's desecrating Yom Kippur. So he tells him to take a stick and the money. So he says like this, if you would only say to take a stick, maybe he would just borrow a stick from someone, near Rabbi Gamliel. You would find a Jewish guy that lives like within the Erev or something, and he's carrying the stick. So how would someone know that he's actually carrying it from one rishus, from one domain to another domain. He says, but money, besides for the problem of carrying, money, there's a different problem. What's the problem of money? Muktzah. So how are you holding money? So he says a stick wouldn't be good enough because, maybe he could pick it up nearby in a way that he wouldn't have to carry it outside from rishus. But money, there would be a problem of muktzah.
Mm-hmm.
So now why didn't he just ask him to bring the money? Why the stick?
Okay.
So this is very interesting. This is out of consideration. Rabbi Gamliel was worried that Rabbi Yeshua was fasting 2 days. And making the long journey, he might be shvach, he might be weak, so he wanted him to carry a stick to make sure he has support.
That's a walking stick.
A walking stick. Isn't that's very interesting.
So interesting, not only did he not tell him not to eat on the Yom Kippur, but he wouldn't punish him if he did fast that day.
And he was kind of like supporting, like kind of like between the lines.
If you don't eat, but you're still going to carry your stick in public.
Yeah. And
But you can fast any day for any reason.
yeah.
So,
Not any
Well,
day.
the
Shabbos,
Not on Shabbos, yeah.
Shavuos, that's also a problem.
I should be, you fast many days for many reasons.
Now he adds another thing. The Efshonami, he adds another thing. He says, think about a stick and money. Sometimes when you say a stick, like you whack someone, like it's power. When you have a stick, it's a stick of of authority, of power. And money is something that you deal with. It's like discussion.
All right.
So Rav Gamliel was telling him, although I'm decreeing on you to do something, don't think that I don't respect you.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I know that you have a stick and you have money. I know that you have a power of authority, and I know that you could really discuss and argue back and forth about this topic. But it's just because I'm the Nasi, that's why I decree that you should do this thing. But it's like showing respect. It's like I know you have your stick, and I know you have your money. I know you have your reasons. That's the way he explained it. So this was okay. Now I'm saying it outside because it would take a long time to read inside. On the next page it says Makloi u'ma'osav biyadai. It says that in the end, it says he took the stick and the money in his hand. So what was he holding in his hand? It sounds like not only the stick, but also the money. What does this show? So it's something very beautiful. The money, a stick you hold in your hand, that's obvious. But money you could keep in your pocket.
Yeah.
How would someone know? But Rabbi Yeshua, because of his humility and to show how he's really accepting what Rabbi Gamliel's authority, he was carrying the money in his hand. Not only the stick in his hand, but even the money he was displaying in his hand. He's like, I'm doing muktzah and I'm carrying over here in front of everyone. I want to show you that I'm following what Rabbi Gamliel said. That's respect. That he held both in his hand, not only the stick, but even the money he was showing in his hand. Then from the Ben Yehoyada, he points out something. He says it's derech tzachos. Tzachos means it's not really a joke, but it's not. It's hard to explain it. It's like an interesting shot. You'll see from what he says. He claims that Rabbi Yeshua was actually poor. I'm not sure how he knows this, but he says that he was poor. And he didn't just say to take money, he says to take your money. To take your money. He explains why. Because on Shabbos, there are certain things that you could carry. If you have a silver coin or a gold coin, but you're using it as like part of a garment or part of like a button, or for maybe you put it on a necklace. So there would be a way for him to carry it on Shabbos or on Yom Kippur if he wanted to get out of it.
Yeah, soldered it to the back of this key.
So Rabbi Gamliel told him, I don't want you to take any money. I don't want you to get around this. He says, I want you to take your money. And he knew that his money was copper. And he says basically like very poor, like just a few pennies or whatever. He's like, obviously you're not going to be able to do something that you would be allowed to use it on Yom Kippur. That's why he said to take ma'isacha, to take your money. Back to the stick and the money. There's another way to explain this.
I've always thought paper money, but you're right, it would be coins.
Yeah, it's mice is coins. Another way to explain this is an important thing. So a lot of times we have disputes between the rabbis. We have machlokes, right? And then
We wouldn't have a Gemara without it.
right, but then we have
Yes, we would.
then we have the conclusion. Then we have the halacha. The halacha is only one way. There's different opinions, but then we follow one way. Now the question is, after the halacha goes according to one rabbi, let's say over here like Rabbi Gamliel, does it mean that the other rabbi is like voted out, like we don't really care what he says, or he's like knocked out and you just have to follow the law? Or the other rabbi really understands and comes to the agreement that what the other rabbi said is really right, and that's the real halacha.
Sometimes teku.
So sometimes it's taken, we don't know, but the ultimate, and really this is the power of Torah, that once the halacha is a certain way, even their other rabbi that argued before, he thinks over it again, and he comes to the realization and recognition that what the other rabbi said is right. So even though he originally thought one way, but he could rethink it and come to the decision that that's the power of shalom. We say that Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom. Talmidei Chachamim have the idea of peace. What's peaceful about it? It's not peaceful at all. You have all these debates, all this machlokes.
Also, we see this from modern jurisprudence, is sometimes it's a,
Hello.
I'm here in town for the synopsis.
sometimes we see this from modern jurisprudence that there is not a hard line that could be found. It's a blurry area, but a line has to be drawn somewhere. So this person could argue the realm extends this way, this person could argue the realm extends this way, and somebody finally has to put a deciding line down. And we see that in modern jurisprudence all the time. I'm sure that's true with them too.
Right, so you have to put a line down, but the question is afterwards when you put down the line,
Yeah, it doesn't negate this person's argument, it doesn't negate this person's argument, it just says we've chosen the line.
but what happens to the other people, to the other opinion? Do they afterwards come to agreement, or they just kind of are like knocked out?
I guess they would say, I agree that is the line.
but
My argument is not necessarily invalid, but I respect the line, and so I'm going to walk with my stick and my money.
So that's the question. Is it just out of respect, or that he actually came to the recognition that Rabbi Gamliel is right?
I guess what I'm trying to say is they could both be right, but nevertheless a line has to be drawn.
So right in logic, or right just in action? Which means when Rabbi Gamliel said that this is the day that's Rosh Hashanah and this is the day Yom Kippur, is Rabbi Yeshua like in his head all upset, like, to me, this is my Yom Kippur and I really don't want to do this, and begrudgingly I'm walking with my stick and money just because he's the leader, I have to follow him? Or is Rabbi Yeshua accepting this in a way that he says, Rabbi Gamliel is the Nasi and this is the halacha, let me rethink what I said before, and maybe Rabbi Gamliel is actually right, and I'm going happily doing this because this is actually what I understand now to be right.
I'm seeing a hybrid here. I'm seeing something completely different than what you're saying. We're combining both. He's distraught, he's consoled, and he accepts wholeheartedly the decision. But even the other rabbi says, you might be right, but I have the authority. So he's accepting that the logic is that you are the decisor. Not necessarily the logic that I'm wrong, but that you are the decisor. And that makes your argument right. Otherwise you wouldn't be distraught.
So he was distraught originally, but then the other rabbis explained to him.
They didn't explain to him that he was wrong, they explained to him that the other guy had the authority.
No, they explained to him that his informants were wrong, and he believed his informants.
That what?
He believed
I don't
the
see that here.
informants.
I don't see that.
The
In the
witnesses.
beginning of all this,
I don't
the
see that here.
witnesses. He didn't know anything without the witnesses telling him what they saw between the new moon and old moon.
What do you mean? Informants means that they said
The
that it was
witnesses-
wrong.
The witnesses.
The witnesses of the moon, of the appearance of the
Rabbi
moon.
Yeshua's witnesses.
He does agree the witnesses are false.
He agreed that?
Rabbi Yoshua said, Rab Dosa, I agree with your words, the witnesses are surely false. Therefore,
Okay, so then he's probably not angry at
Rabban
all
Gamliel
about
then?
anything.
Rabbi Yoshua, so then Rabbi Gamliel said the message to Yoshua, I decree you come with me. So Gamliel accepted them as valid witnesses. Rabbi Yoshua said to Dosa, the witnesses are false. So Rabbi Yoshua still had a hard line, those witnesses are wrong. Gamliel said those witnesses are correct. And Gamliel said, as the authority, you must accept what the authority gives me the power to say, which is that no matter that they are false, this is Rosh Hashanah, and you must walk to me with your stick in your hand, money in your hand.
I don't know that no matter that it is false. It could be according to Rabbi Gamliel, he thinks that they are actually correct, and
He says so.
well,
Rabbi Gamliel accepted them as valid witnesses and established the 30th day as Rosh Chodesh Tishrei. It
Well,
says,
right, but it
Accepted.
doesn't say that he accepted that they were false. He accepted that what they said was correct.
exactly, Gamliel said they
Yeah.
accepted them. But Rabbi Yeshua said to Rabbi Dosa, I agree with your words, the witnesses are surely false.
That's what Rabbi Shua said, right?
To
So-
Dosa.
Yes. Now afterwards, so that was originally.
Sounds
So
like the lines are in their lines are in the sand. Yoshua says, I hold those witnesses are false. Rabbi Gamliel says, I hold the witnesses are valid. So I don't think either of them changed their opinions.
So so this idea over here is trying to say that later on, once the halacha is decided, established one way, the other opinion tries to rethink it and agrees with the halacha. And that's what's hinted to in bringing your stick and money with you, which means like this: your stick is something which you hold on to. It's close to you. Money is even a little bit further than you. Rabbi Gamliel wanted Rabbi Yeshua should not just come and follow him just, because this is what he has to do. He wanted him to come there fully, even with your stick and with your money. He wanted every part of him should be in agreement.
So not only his authority was subsumed under Rabbi Gamliel's authority, but his ability to argue was also subsumed under his authority.
Yes, that's what Rabbi Gamliel really wanted. He wanted that shouldn't just be like a verdict. This is what I decided. He wanted Rabbi Yeshua to be there fully, even like with his stick and with his money, every part of
So
him.
in his heart.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
That's
I can see that.
that's the next.
One interpretation of the stick, however, was that he would be fasting 2 days. If he's fasting 2 days,
Then he's-
that means I'm fasting 1 day for you and 1 day for me.
Right, and that's why the money had to come.
But the stick was there just to give him support in case he was weak because he was fasting 2
Is
days.
that what you're saying?
Right. No, I'm saying that
Yeah.
that if you follow the argument that the stick was to support him because he would be fasting for 2 days on a 1 day yontiv, so that means that he's fasting 1 day for me and 1 day for you because I have to.
But then what do they do for Sukkot?
Otherwise
Are they
he
a day
fasted
late
1 day.
or
Right.
a day on?
That's true.
So I mean, but it's
Yeah. And
the-
Rabbi Gamliel did
they're
not
both
require.
suggestions. Neither one is
Rabbi Gamliel did not require him to eat. For one thing, it's done in private, as it says in the footnote.
They didn't even discuss about eating. They didn't say.
Well, there's a gray window here that says, Rabbi Gamliel did not force Rabbi Yeshua to eat on Yom Kippur, since eating is not usually done in front of many people. And if Rabbi Yeshua would eat in private, there would not be a public display that he accepted Rabbi Gamliel's authority. So you don't force him to eat on Yom Kippur, even privately, to show acceptance. Yeah, you could fast that day. There's Nishkadago fast.
Saying
So
it
will
wouldn't.
time be corrected the next month if one's right and one's wrong?
Every month is treated independently.
Yeah, so it'd be corrected.
The next new moon.
It
when
would,
the-
it's
when the
not really
witnesses came.
connected. It would be a new.
Yeah.
Yeah, new problem.
New set of witnesses will come. This time there's no machlokas. The moon is the moon.
Yeah, what day is it?
But according to this last explanation, it's a beautiful thing how even once the halacha is decided, it's not in a way that it's negating the other reason. It's the ultimate or the best position would be is that the other opinion comes to the agreement with the halacha. Not just that he has to follow it in action, but he actually understands it. So, like, in this week's Torah portion, we have about going after the majority, right? If you have in the court, you have a Beis Din, and how do you know what to decide? If you have some rabbis saying like this, some rabbis saying like that. So the Torah says you have to go after the majority, what most of the Sanhedrin, most of the Beis Din says. So now, what happens to the minority, that we do not follow? Are they kind of like we don't care what they say?
No, they're equally valid, except they're not accepted.
But after we accept what the majority said, the best position would be is that even the minority rethinks and understands like the majority.
So then why preserve the minority opinion in writing? We need it there
We need it
to show the argument.
yes.
Yeah.
But
That
afterwards,
means that both sides of the argument had serious validity.
Yes.
Just one was just enough more valid than the other that is totally accepted. And then the minority who may not. Okay, I'm getting the question of how their state of mind is.
that's what we're trying to bring out. That really once the halacha is decided one way, the ultimate is that even the minority should come to that recognition also.
But boy, that's not such a simple thing.
But I've heard
That's
it
not.
said that
That's what
the catch
that's
here.
what Rabbi Yeshua
Yeah.
did over here. He came with a stick and his money. You know, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Because Torah is not really a theory. Torah has to come down to halacha, right?
Yeah.
It's everything in Torah, or most things, are connected to actual halacha. It has to come. So
let's look at twilight, okay? There's a whole machlokas about twilight. We know exactly when sunset is. You can see it. Bink, bink, okay? We know exactly when 3 stars are out. There they are. Now you have this whole gray area in between.
Mm-hmm.
This rabbi says it's 12 minutes. This rabbi says it's 18 minutes. This rabbi says 22 minutes. This rabbi says it's 44 minutes. Now, I don't think it's never been resolved. But every Jew has to, by Masorah, or if he's a ger, by his teacher, or whatever, has to choose one of these opinions and say, this opinion is the one, and based on that, halacha comes from it. At this point, a violation of Shabbos is d'Rabbanan. At this point, a violation of Shabbos is d'Oraisa. Just one example. So you could strongly feel that twilight extends 44 minutes up, but nevertheless, my Rav, the one I follow, the one I'm obligated to follow, says 22 minutes, 22 minutes. So that's what I'm trying to say, that there would be decisions about very weighty stuff, like the age of a girl, can be married, or a decision between two people who's you have equally valid arguments in Torah, and the Beis Din comes down and gives an answer, and they all follow it, they all shake hands, they all walk away, but each one could still say, although my argument is valid, the court's authority supersedes my opinion, and therefore I follow the court's authority. I choose the 22-minute mark. My friend chooses the 44-minute mark in the case of twilight. So it's obligated that we absolutely accept the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obligated that we say that our minority opinion is not the one that's followed. But I don't see that it's obligated that our minority opinion is completely eliminated, invalid, or buttal.
Not bottle, but we're saying that the ultimate level of shalom, of peace, is
It's more
that,
important than anything else.
yeah, and peace, it doesn't just mean that you all do the same thing. Peace means that you really think the same way also. That's
That's why.
That's where I can't cross.
that's
that line.
real shalom. But it doesn't mean that that's how you thought originally, because you thought differently. But once you know that this is the halacha, you're able to understand and fully even in your head agree with the halacha. That's the idea.
Agree with it. But I say Brooke Shamar in the middle of my davening chakras, and the people I daven with say Brooke Shamar at the beginning of their davening chakras. And they do. We say it where we say it for Kabbalistic reasons. They say it where they say it for halachic reasons. We each have our reasons. They're both valid. But as a Jew, Nusach Sfard, I follow this decision. As a Jew, Ashkenaz, they follow this decision.
Right. So sometimes you could do both. But let's say over
Right.
here,
If I'm the Baal Tefillah, for instance.
what?
If I'm the Baal Tefillah in Ashkenazi Shul, then I do what they do, and I do it with full acceptance and understanding. Baruch Shamar belongs here. This is where I'm standing.
Right, but I'm saying over here in this case, he couldn't do both. Rabbi Shua, that's where Rabbi Gamliel was worried that he would fast the Yom Kippur his day and like.
But he didn't tell him not to fast. Fasting was not the problem.
Which mean not. I mean, I don't mean fast. I mean like keeping 2 days of Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
So there had
Did
to.
he eat?
It doesn't say what if he ate or not.
He needed to publicly desecrate it because he needed to show his acceptance of the authority of the Beis Din.
And
That meant he needed
I
to
mean,
do
he
it
didn't.
he needed to show
What a problem.
full enthusiasm.
so he wanted, besides for the authority, but there's also an important point is the unity of all the Jewish people,
Yeah.
that they're all keeping the same day of Yom Kippur. So to achieve that unity that's the question.
Sure.
Is Rabbi Shua in there, or he's just making a show? That's the question. When he's taking his stick and his money, is he doing it just to display, to show to everyone that he's united with the halacha? Or does he actually, now that this is the halacha, he's actually in agreement with this now?
Well, he was obligated to do the things that show, and he was
Yeah.
not obligated to do the things that don't show.
Right, but
So the show was the important part.
the show is the important part, but what does that show? Is it showing something deeper about himself now,
Yeah.
or is that just a display?
It shows humility, it shows acceptance, it shows his concern for Achdus, it shows his respect for the Beis Din. I don't think it shows that he abandoned his opinion, to the extent that he was allowed to by the Beis Din. He did not. He may have fasted. We don't know. They didn't say.
But not that he abandoned his opinion, but he rethought, he came to a deeper understanding that Rabbi Gamliel was correct. That's what we're trying to say.
That's a hard step for me to take.
If you look,
He accepted he was correct by the basis of his authority. If Rabbi Gamliel hadn't been the Av Beis Din, he wouldn't have accepted his opinion. If the position had been reversed, he wouldn't have accepted Rabbi Gamliel's logic. He would have been the one saying to Rabbi Gamliel, "You come to me with your stick and your wallet because I'm the Av Beis Din."
the question is really like this. Let me just flip it.
Isn't that
I hear what you're saying, but does it make sense that just because someone has a greater authority but his logic is flawed, that's the truth of Torah? Why would Torah say
Yes.
that even though logically this does not make sense, this is what you should do just because Rabbi Gamliel said it?
Well, we have the case where the Jews argue with God and said, "Stay out of it." So yes, it is a matter of authority. That's what's paramount. God, you don't have authority in this. I don't care if you write on the walls. I don't care if you move the walls. I don't. We're in charge, and God says, "My children have bested me." So yeah, it's the authority Achdus and authority that matter.
But Torah is also understanding. Torah is chachma. Torah, it's not just okay. You say this, you say that. Yet what you say has to have reason. Has to have. Later on, the Gemara actually gives a reason for Rabbi Gamliel. If we go a little bit further, Rabbi Gamliel says, like, why he said what he said. But what I'm saying is, it's not just that he said it and that's it. Like you have to follow it blindly just because I said it. There is logic. The question is, Rabbi Shua had a different logic. But now that the halacha is one way, is that just in the verdict and what you have to do, or that means that you should also think like that? That's the idea over here, and we're trying to explain that those halacha and the reasoning really go together. You shouldn't really separate them. Once Rabbi Yeshua understood that Rabbi Gamliel is the halacha, he was able to understand him also, not just to follow him, and that's what was represented in bringing his stick and money. That he was even able to reason with Rabbi Gamliel. That's what we're trying to explain.
Yeah.
Accepting the arguments of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Dosa. Yeah, okay.
That's
but the arguments that Beis Din has the authority. Okay.
But that's part of it.
If we are the two rabbis, I'm not accepting in my heart, but I'm accepting the authority of the answer.
But that's not good enough.
Right, yeah.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
You see that Rabbi Gamliel could have made Rabbi Shua show it in different ways.
Uh-huh.
The stick and the money is trying to represent that he's fully with them, even in reasoning. Okay, but we could.
It's fascinating. You're right. Absolutely fascinating.
All right, but to be discussed. Yeshikaya.
How much time do you have to come to this understand, it's not a simple thing.
But
To.
he didn't have too much time because this
See,
happened on Rosh Hashanah, and this was already Yom
clock is
Kippur.
ticking.
He had maybe 10 days of tshuva. That's what he was doing. He was.
Not so simple. Well, it was the exciting conclusion.
What?
I said I came at the exciting conclusion.
Yeah.
And I really did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yikes, yeah.
Look for the moon tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, 6:30.
Yeah, you're keeping the
Could
moilad,
be the
huh?
last visible part of it before Rosh Chodesh.
Yeah. Tomorrow is the 29th.
And Venus is right above the moon too, it's just beautiful. You could see the umbra